All right. We are live, I think. Yes, we are. 5 seconds. We are late, but live. It is 11:23 a.m. on 10/24/2025. It has been election week up here in Greenville for the special elections. A lot of good news on that. And it is early voting up here in Greenville and across the state for the November 4th election. So it's all very exciting and all very busy. If you see a lot of people out here, we're all stamping envelopes, labels, blah, 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 all kinds of stuff. So it's been exciting. The biggest exciting news that I think everybody across the state probably heard on Tuesday is Lee Bright was elected or re-elected as our state senator in Senate District 12, which is part of Greenville, mainly in Spartanburg.
He won the Republican nomination still.
Well, it's true. He won the Republican nomination. There is no Democratic opponent. So they could wage a write-in campaign on December 23rd or whatever day it is. But I don't think that's much of a concern. But you do have to watch out for it. So we will have to make sure people get out and vote in December, and I do think it's a couple days before Christmas, 21st or 23rd. So 2 days before Christmas, all the poll workers in Senate District 12 will have to come out and let everybody vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's what people will be doing 2 days before Christmas. So thank you for the establishment for resigning on those particular dates to set that up. So
I guess I figured a lot of people would be out of town.
that's quite possible, but who knows? I think they were trying to shoot for a runoff for Lee Bright on Election Day of November 4th. That way more people would come out. That way you would be able to defeat Lee by having more mailers and all that type of stuff. So I think that's what they were shooting for. They did not expect him to win in the primary. They were expecting to really have to battle him in the runoff.
What turnout was pathetic?
The turnout was pathetic. Statewide, there were 3 special elections. Statewide turnout was 6.3%. Greenville was in the lead. I will say that we did have 2 races with the Senate District 21 and the House District 21 and Senate District 12. We were just below 8%, and Spartanburg was like at 5.97. So even though we were higher, we won that battle, but we did have 2 races. So that might have been, I don't want to take super credit. The turnout is horrible. We got to get better turnout. So, but turnout is also, lack of turnout is opportunity. I want to make sure all the knows. Is the volume working? So, Lynn, if you're watching from home, just check the volume. I don't think sit there and keep talking.
Yeah, because I normally do that.
Yeah, no, you normally do it. So, but I will say, and we will take credit for the fact that Greenville and our numbers, Lee Bright did not win in Spartanburg, but he did in Greenville. So it was our numbers that pulled him over the hump. So we'll take credit for that. And we'll rub it in on our Spartanburg friends and on Lee and everybody else. But that's pretty exciting. The other exciting thing is Steve Nail is in the runoff. He came in first in House District 21, outdistancing the second place finisher, which is Diane Mitchell, who is somebody we, as the Greenville GOP, censured because she participated in the reorg fraud of 2021. And I, of course, got photographs from last Monday where she or somebody in her campaign had a vehicle with a Vote Diane Mitchell sticker on the side of it, parked in a parking lot at the Sugar Creek polling location.
Within 500
Within the 500 feet.
Yeah, it should be removed.
So, she likes to claim that she's prepared and ready to go to Columbia to fight the establishment and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. She is the establishment. She is the corruption. She is, she doesn't even know that she can't, campaign within 500 feet of a polling location. We also did find, and we'll put this out, the old pictures of Diane supporting Dan Tripp and Liz Seaman. Dan Tripp is somebody who we also censured, now twice, about the tax increase on Greenville. She was supporting Dan Tripp and Liz Seaman in 2 years ago in becoming leaders, with the board and chair and vice chair of the Greenville County County Commission, which is county council, which is what got us all involved in censuring them in the first place for the tax increase and in flipping county council and up here in Greenville and getting rid of all those people. So it's ironic that she's claiming she wants to fight that side of the tax increasing and the tax and spend Republicans when she is the one who literally is sitting there, supporting them. So, we know Diane Mitchell pretty well. We dealt with her pretty well. And that's why we, as the Greenville County Republican Party, are strongly endorsing Steve Nail. And we're getting out there and doing everything we can to make sure he wins this runoff. So I expect him to win it. Typically, you finish like that. And I do know the other parties are not happy with Diane Mitchell because I think Diane Mitchell's campaign has been pretty nasty to other people that were running. So, but that's what they do. But they were also backed by the Freedom Caucus, that's what they do. They lie and they push those types of things out there. I will once again remind everybody that the several members of the Freedom Caucus did endorse Diane Mitchell. I reached out to all of them and informed them about how Diane was an active participant in the reorg fraud in 2021, and of course none of them want to retract their endorsements. So I don't see how you can stand for election integrity when you're out there endorsing people who violate election integrity. So these GOP reorgs are part of the state election law. So we are official elections, just like there are official elections that go on with the state election commission and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing. So what else do we got? We're ready to sign off. We covered it all. We're done. So we're very busy, as you can see. People are putting out labels and doing stuff. Like trying to flip Greenville, trying to flip Simpsonville, doing some stuff in Greer, and we got maybe some Fountain Inn stuff too.
Tuesday evening, Shannon and I were going down Greenville Road, down to Ward, and we noticed at several intersections, Read Wright's competition had signs out, but there were no signs for Read Wright.
Really? There were a lot of people that were taking Lead Right signs up. Lee gets hit pretty hard. It's an understatement of the century. I think what he is excited about, we were obviously over here in Greenville doing what we needed to do on election night. He had a video election night over in Spartanburg. But he's like, we finally figured out how to win these races. We're going to participate in the actual primary piece of it as opposed to just wait for the runoff. Because that's what he did before. I mean, when he ran for Congress in 2018, it was hilarious. He didn't say a word. He didn't come out, didn't do anything in the primary because he knew he would make it to the runoff. And then he spent all of his dollars in the runoff. So now this time he got involved more. I mean, election day, he was all over the radio. He had literally raised more money than I think everybody else. So he was out there doing a lot of stuff. We participated in a lot of this type of stuff, or handwriting envelopes and doing some things like that to get that out, for Lee through his campaign. And then we, through the party, we sent out some mailers that were, what we did is we overlapped the districts or the precincts for the voting people that were voting in District 12, Senate District 12, and Senate District 21. And we sent out mailers to those people. We killed two birds with one stone. And we also included our our membership drive stuff for 26 for the Greenville GOP. So we really killed three birds with one stone with one mailer. And then we sent out separate mailers just for Steve Nail in places where only Steve Nail was. And I guess there was maybe a precinct or two that were just Lee Bright, but not Steve Nail. But I think those we actually had people door knocking. So I mean, it was an all-out effort because we knew it would be low turnout, but with us and the ability to mobilize people and resources and get it out there, and we did text messaging, certainly for Steve Nail and Lee Bright, and then we did reminders the night before the election. We did reminder text messages the day of the election to remind people to get out there and vote. And there's a lot of people that forget. And they don't remember that, the election day is today, and they don't know where to go. You hear all the complaints about people, I went to my normal place, but it's not there. Yeah. So we end up sending a text message with a link that actually has to a page on the Greenville GOP website that has, where they can find their voting location. So we did all that because, I mean, even though the statewide turnout was 6.3%, which is atrocious, at least I think we certainly got out more people than would have voted otherwise. So, I mean, I'm not happy with that. I wish we would get 50% turnout, but people have turned off to politics, and politics is dirty and nasty, and I don't like it. And that's what I complain about with the social media stuff. You can say all day all the stuff you want on there, and nasty lies and all that. I can deal with it, but you know what? They're pushing people away from turnout. People are sitting there saying, I don't want to have anything to do with this. Now, the people that are saying and writing those nasty things, that's their intent. And that's what we're trying to teach people. Don't let that stuff push you away. So, I mean, they can say that we're as corrupt as everybody else on the planet, and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, that's because they don't want you to come get involved. They want you to stay away because, especially from the establishment side, they think they can win these things with money by sitting there, spending more on mailers. I think we can win with less money by having grassroots people get involved, neighbors contacting neighbors, neighbors texting neighbors, neighbors door knocking with neighbors, neighbors grabbing a neighbor and taking them to the polling booth with them, like-minded folks and doing that type of stuff.
Telling your church friends.
Telling your church friends, you're working in your church groups. I mean, I get shocked all the time. How many we can't get the preachers to talk about it from the pulpit, but we can get the conversations in the small group meetings. That's where we're finding a lot.
Cowards.
They are, yes, I think I think that's inappropriate. Many of them are cowards to it. Many of them see their church as a business and they don't want to risk the revenue, but people can do it in a smaller group without risking the revenue. So that's it's disappointing. It's we are. I mean, you see the whole debate. Separation of church and state. We've learned it in the Constitution class that we've been attending over the past 5 weeks. Tomorrow will be the 6th week. And we'll do more of those, and we'll do those here, probably maybe a 2-day Constitution class, that type of stuff. But then we can also do them online. But I mean, we were a Christian-based country, founded on Christian-based morals and values, and people don't want the churches involved. And I will tell you, and I've always thought it quite interesting. Olga's over in Poland. They actually have election day on Sunday. So imagine this: you go to church and then you go vote. They would never want that here in America because we would flood them if Christians.
Or if you had the day off, like
Or-
if they made it a national holiday, voting day, or
Right.
go to polls.
Right. I mean, Tuesday was not a day off. A lot of people had to work. And the polls are only open 7 to 7. I think in Poland they're open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's on a Sunday, so think about that. You don't have to worry about location. All your local schools are open, or available as voting locations. And people either right after church go to lunch and then vote, or they right after church go vote and then go to lunch. That's if you really wanted the people's voice.
And they use paper ballots too, still, right?
They use paper ballots and they hand count them. It's actually amazing.
And it doesn't take 2 weeks to find out who their
It
winner
does
is.
not take 2 weeks.
It's amazing.
It does not take, and you can watch it with videos and all that kind of stuff. And it's a country of 30 million voters, and their turnout is massive.
Oh, yeah.
Very large turnout. Why? I mean, that's where and I've always said it. When it's a problem that is very easy to solve, and they will not do it,
No one saw it.
dig deeper and try to figure it out. It's like the solving the border wall was not a problem. They're going to tell you, we need a law, we need Congress. Trump went in there and did it in 30 days and got it down to 0.
He's enforced the laws on the books,
Right.
right?
No, you don't need
Right.
more laws.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that we say all the time: where there is a will, there is a way. I don't care what it is, but if you've got the will, there is a way to get it done. So that's what we try to emphasize: is question, and fight.
One thing you mentioned radio. I was going to say I did listen to Mike yesterday on Bill Brady's show.
Mike, oh, Kilgore, yeah.
Kilgore.
yeah.
He did an excellent job. I was really impressed. I wish I could vote for him, but I can't.
Well,
So if I know people in the city that I'm telling them to vote for him.
yes.
You moved here.
We-
Well, I do own property, but it's still not in his district, so.
We have, as everyone knows, the municipal elections, the special district elections, and the fire commission elections are November 4th. Early voting is going on this week, Monday through Friday, next week, Monday through Friday. Find out, obviously here in Greenville, it's at McAllister Square. There's one location for the whole county. So if you're in Fountain Inn or you're way up in Travelers Rest, you got to drive all the way in.
Yeah.
So I don't see a lot of those people voting early, but we do see.
We had 3 yesterday, 5 of them, 'cause we went to vote yesterday.
Right.
And then since Monday, there were only 3 of us, and 2. Right.
Since Monday, listen to this. This is Fountain Inn. Since Monday, they can check. They can tell you who's voted, but they don't tell you what you voted for.
How many people?
But how many people? Only 3 people from the municipality of Fountain Inn had voted yesterday.
In early voting.
Yeah, early voting. I will tell you and we got the numbers in the Senate District 12 and House District 21. I think it was 280 and maybe 300. I mean, that's a district of, the House District is 30,000. The House District is 30,000. That's all in Greenville. So, I mean, you got a very minute number, and it's because it's on the border with Spartanburg. It's a long drive to come all the way over to Greenville. Now, that might have just been, 280 people that actually work in the city of Greenville and just happen to stop by, that type of thing, that have to come into Greenville already. But we'll talk to the election commission people in the future. Yes, there's not a lot of turnout, so why do they want to put a voting location and staff it, 7 or for 10 days, full time? Maybe they don't. But you're not going to get any voting if you're going to only have one location up in McAllister. So to me, each of these municipalities ought to have a machine somewhere in the city council offices or somewhere, where you can have one person sit there and monitor, or maybe you're legally required to have to. I don't know what the issue, what the problem is, but for 200 and some odd votes, that was not, in a full-time operation going on down in McAllister, that was painful. Because we want more turnout. I'm sure they're happy for turnout too. I'm not saying that they don't, but we got to find a way to make it more convenient for people. So I'm actually thinking of proposing online voting for everybody.
Nothing can go wrong with that.
Nothing can go wrong with that. But we'll get hired.
Yeah.
We'll get hired.
No problem with that, Jeff.
Yeah, that will be connected to the internet. Not a problem.
Nothing can be wrong
Nothing
with
can go
that.
wrong.
So everybody can vote from their tablet or their.
Yeah, not a problem. I second that vote.
And AI will monitor it, and if we vote wrong, it will fix it for you.
That's true. Sort of like how the machines fix it now for
They
us.
obviously made a mistake.
That's not what Jeff intended. He did want to vote for the Democrat.
This person's confused.
Yes, and I will tell you, at least for our people here in Greenville, if you go to greenvillegop.com/vote, that's greenvillegop.com. We've got it up on the screen /vote. We've got kind of a little information about the runoff election. So it gets confusing. We got to focus on the runoff election, and then we got to focus on the municipal election. So on the runoff election, they only have early voting next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's only 3 days for the runoff. So that's and it's only for House District 21. For the municipal elections, we have 2 weeks. So that's going on now. I will tell you as well, imagine you have a municipal election and you're in the runoff election, that you have to vote in both. You go in, you vote in your municipal election, then you have to go back out and then go back in again and vote in your local, in your runoff election, okay? So that's going to be happening in the early voting, and that is also going to be happening day of voting. So they gotta keep, I'm sure there's a way to combine it, but I think for security purposes, they're keeping it separate. So you go in, you'll go vote on a machine for the early voting. You'll then get back in line and go vote on a machine for the special election. So just be prepared for that. Yeah, I
So
know
that's not gonna confuse anybody.
it confuses me. It's just talking about it.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I mean, it's the irritation of it. It's the extra, it's more time consuming, all that kind of stuff. But
They're the voting, okay.
that's just the way it is until we get universal online voting. Stop complaining. It can be worse. I know. All the clips are coming out. All the clips are coming.
We'll make Siri your proxy voter.
Yeah, yeah. And I will tell you, we did go to the David Pasco. He spoke in Pickens last night. I picked up a bumper sticker. I guess it's okay for me to have a bumper sticker of David Pasco since we're supporting him for Attorney General. And he gave a good presentation last night to our friends over in Pickens. It was exciting. I did. There was another solicitor, a retired solicitor, and his wife were there. I think it was his wife. But they showed up, and it was funny talking to the other solicitor because he knew some of the parties and everything up here in Greenville. And this gentleman, I'm pretty sure 99% sure supports Pasco too. And it was funny talking to him about what the risk David Pasco took about taking on judicial reform. It's we've been talking about it. He gives us credit for being the first location at that January 6th, 2022 meeting, Greenville GOP meeting, where I caught a ton of grief for having him come speak because he was like a Democrat. I mean that's where it all started. That's where I think we're going to get judicial reform. Everybody's talking about judicial reform. I think when we went to the Ralph Norman thing, didn't he say he was the only person? Only person in the governor's race talking about judicial reform, and I'm like,
They did.
welcome to the battle. I mean, welcome to the battle. I
Glad you
mean,
finally caught up.
thanks for 4 years later or whatever whatever you caught up with us. But it was funny. I will tell everybody because I did think this was funny. The other solicitor had just, I think he was a year or so ahead of me in law school, but he knew one of the former solicitors here in Greenville that had written a recommendation for me to get into law school. And the joke was, my curiosity was, because I didn't know whether that friend of ours, the guy that I knew well, the former solicitor, whether he was a Democrat or a Republican. So I said, was Joe Watson a Democrat or a Republican? He said he was a Democrat, one of the last ones. And I said, oh, wait till they all find out that I was recommended by a Democrat to go to law school. So that'll be the next thing. I'm pushing online voting and recommended by Democrats to go to law school. So I can't wait for people to.
You are, baby.
I know. I'm waiting for it all. Listen, they're running out of material to use against me. They're running out of material, so I'm trying to give them some more material so they can
Also,
figure it
online
out.
says online paper voting.
Online paper voting. We have smart people.
Go figure.
That is similar to the online the Zoom call meeting where we did the other day, the special called meeting where we did it, and people were voting by sending in an email, and one person was saying take a picture of your email before you send it. Like I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, so it doesn't
They
change
take
your
a-
vote.
We always recommend people at reorg to take a picture of your ballot. It's a piece of paper you can take a picture of. The election commission will not let you take a picture of what you're voting for in the booth, which I think they should let you do it. I don't know why they don't. But we allow people
Who
to.
you voted for, to verify that's who you voted for and give you money.
Oh, and give you money. And you're
That's
right.
what
about
that's
that.
what they
Yes,
say in
you're right.
class.
Yeah, that is, Terry is absolutely correct. What they used to, why they don't let you take a picture of your ballot in the voting booth is because in the old days, apparently you could take a picture or some sort of record of it, I guess, on a picture.
Uh,
And then you get your bag of candy, or you get your fifth of liquor, or whatever they would give you
Whatever they give you.
for voting for them. So that was your proof of voting. So, but I mean, they didn't have pictures back then. I don't know what they did. So.
I know.
So who knows? So, but David Pasco's presentation was really good. He talked about, just generally the corruption that he always talks about and what's out there. He did give a great story about his first, I think it was his first death penalty case, and about how that individual actually had killed a current or former police chief of Orangeburg at his lake house, because when
he was retired.
was he retired? I mean, it was. I mean, I had never heard that story before, but it was very moving for me about how it all panned out and how he pursued it. Because this individual had literally gone to the elementary school that Pasco himself had gone to up in Richmond, Virginia, and obviously different ages or whatnot. But I mean, just stole a car, hijacked a car, all that kind of stuff, and laid in wait in this lake house for this retired police chief, and killed him and burned his body and all this kind of stuff. And and even though the wife did not want David to pursue the death penalty, they did, because otherwise, and part of his point of that was apparently David Stumbo, who is one of his opponents, recently, I guess, decided not to pursue the death penalty against somebody who raped a 2-year-old. I'm like, I mean, really? I mean, raped a 2-year-old, and apparently that is a death penalty offense. I guess maybe they murdered the child too.
I don't know.
I don't know
We
the
don't know.
details.
Yeah, you just mentioned the race.
But he mentioned that, and that's not gonna be a good.
Well, we have some breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Yes, so I'm gonna share the screen here, and you can read it on the screen, because you will get very interested.
Okay. I'm more interested in online paper voting. So, well, this is very interesting. Apparently, Howie Knapp has been arrested, which is probably a good thing. And I actually, we talked about that. Howie Knapp is the former SC Votes State Election Commission executive director. He was the one having an affair with one of his employees and paying her and trying to give her a raise. They were the ones that actually put a recording device, a transmitting device, into the office where the State Board of Elections, the board itself, were having deliberations and discussions about employment issues, Howie, and all that kind of stuff. And they were recording it and listening to what, it's like, imagine planting a bug in your boss's office, to be nice or whatever, but these are government officials and you can't do these things.
Facing 8 charges.
He's facing 8 charges. I actually, he is a Citadel graduate. I even told David Pasco that last night. He wasn't aware of it, but what I got, obviously in our position here, when we first got elected, election integrity was a big issue. Obviously, we want to contact our local county, board of elections, the executive director, in this case, Conrad Belangia. So we would talk to him, get him to walk us through the process and the system. Always transparent, always willing to tell us, how they do things. Invited us in to do a tour, let us come in and watch how they do everything. Always transparency. Transparency is what we're looking for. Howie Knapp, I'll reach out to him. Would not return a phone call, would not return an email, would not converse about anything. Number one, that's offensive because that's his job. His job is to sit there and work with and communicate, and especially when there's a lot of issues going on with election integrity coming out of the 2020 election. So that threw up a big red flag. But then, also the fact that he was a fellow Citadel alumni, obviously younger than me, but was unwilling to even return a phone call. And I have told other people, I've seen some of the FOIA documents that have come out with communications with Howard Knapp on there, and he was not being friendly with some of the people pushing the America First agenda. And I will tell you, we even got a return email. Somehow he was on our mySCGOP email list, which is fine, anybody can sign up for it or whatnot. But he received an email from us, and he was forwarding it to Hope Walker, who was the executive director of the SCGOP. But instead of sending it to hope@scgop.com, he sent it to hope@myscgop.com. So it came to us. So we were kind of like, why is the state executive director of the SC Votes forwarding our mySCGOP emails to Hope Walker? He was obviously working very closely with the SCGOP, Drew McKissick, those people. The FOIA documents that I saw were communications that he was having in regards to our America First friends in Horry County, Myrtle Beach. And he was telling the election director in Myrtle Beach not to even respond to our people, this person individually who was the chair of the Horry County Republican Party, telling the election director not to respond to him, that he was being rude. I'm reading the emails that he wrote, and I'm like, these are very professional. He's a business person, and, working. And I'm like, these are very professional emails and very legitimate, non-harassing questions that he was asking. But Howie was trying to turn it up. Oh, don't even respond to them. Don't communicate with them. I mean, why is a government official telling other government officials not to communicate with us? Well, because that's the tactic. As we all know, Adam Morgan won't communicate. I can't. I mean, we can check it. We can check it again this week as we check every week. Mark Lynch's of the world, block us from their page. I've never trolled or written anything on Mark Lynch's campaign Facebook page or anywhere, but he has blocked us. Olga is blocked off for whatever reason off of Alan Wilson's campaign page. Those are actually where they're supposed to be communicating, and we're doing some research right now because I had a House rep delete a comment that I wrote on his public Facebook page. Nothing nasty, nothing threatening, not calling me bad words and all that kind of stuff, but asking and putting evidence and questions out there that people, I think, have an interest in. And this elected official deletes it because he doesn't want people knowing what I know. That's what the big problem
Maybe you need
is.
to put asking for a friend.
That'll make it work. Yeah.
I have a few comments.
Yes.
For Austin is not worried people will take the online paper voting seriously, so he wants people to make sure that.
That's a joke.
Never know it's a joke.
Right. Then Patrick has a question: who hires the South Carolina State Election Commission executive director?
Okay, who hires the election? I mean, I think they are put up. Well, in theory, it's gone around in the past. So in theory, it should be the Board of Elections,
I can't read.
the State Board of Elections. But I think it's either they put them up or the governor puts them up. But now, most recently, they have to be confirmed by the Senate. Now that is new. Howie was confirmed by the Senate. We push people not to confirm, and I think Tom Corbin voted against it. So, but the rest of them, it was just kind of a rubber stamp. But I do think Tom Corbin voted against Howie. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the governor or if it's the or the election board puts them up, but they do have to be confirmed by the Senate. So I would assume that whoever they try next time is going to get a lot more due diligence, and they're going to really look at them a lot harder. So, but there were issues with Howard Knapp. There were issues with his predecessor. There's some you can tell, and it's like what we talked about before we went on. When something is easy to solve and they refuse to do it, dig deeper. Just like in the example I always like to use is the border wall. Everybody said, oh, we need new legislation. Congress needs to do something to stop the border wall jazz. That's not Trump did it in 30 days just by enforcing the current law that we had. But if they can't do something, or if they're refusing to fix something, where there's a will, there's a way. if they're refusing to fix something that's very simple, dig deeper. Somebody has a substantial interest in maintaining control over the South Carolina Election Commission. They do not, I mean, the state party, I know based on those emails I saw, the executive director is working closely with the SCGOP. I don't know if they're working closely with the Democrats as well, if it was just the SCGOP. I don't know, but I will tell you, I have had zero confidence in the state election commission, zero confidence in how we have. And we've been fighting that for a long time, trying to bring more attention to it. But they ought to be working on complete transparency, and they're not. So we're getting more mailers out. So that's good. But we'll find out. So I don't, they'll probably sit on the sidelines and do nothing for a long time. Which is
Another inquiry?
another inquiry, yes.
Yeah, we have breaking news from Simpsonville.
Breaking news from Simpsonville.
There has been total of 12 votes this week as early voting
Yeah.
in city of Simpsonville for the city council.
Oh,
Out of
okay.
Simpsonville.
So there's one challenge.
Ooh.
There's one challenged race in Simpsonville. One contested race. So there two in Simpsonville? A small one. Yeah. So I think the only one is Lou Hutchins versus Jerry
And
Tussaud.
there's another guy.
And there's a third person in there. So think about that. For a whole week, there were only 12 people that drove up from Simpsonville to McAllister Square to early vote. So, I mean, I guess we have, that's 4.5 days. So they have the rest of today.
Oh,
to
and
do it.
Glenn wanted me to know that he thinks or hopes that the votes were for Jerry Russo.
I think Jerry has his first 12 votes.
But I don't know that.
We don't know. They will tell us who's voted. We can find out who's voted or how many votes have been cast and from what precinct, but they will not tell us who they do vote for. And I will tell you, I sat in a meeting one time, and this was a former chair of Anderson, a big, huge rhino person, literally sat there and swore up and down that Drew McKissick knew who everybody voted for. And I'm like, if Drew McKissick knows who I voted for in the primary or the election, I'm like, we got a bigger problem. She's just, nope, I'm sure he knows exactly who everybody votes for. And I'm like, you're involved in politics, and
You're an idiot.
And even if you believe that and thought it was true, you're not sitting here freaking out and saying, this is illegal.
The only people that know who you vote for is you and God. That's it.
Amen.
That's what the way it's supposed to be. So
Other question, and I'm pulling up to know exactly who the candidates are. Do we favor the other two unopposed incumbents?
well, with
So-
unopposed, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Those are the other
You favor Aaron Root, right?
Yeah, we do like Aaron Root. We think Aaron's good.
And then I wouldn't opine on the other ones.
Okay. But yeah, if there, people want to complain about an unchallenged candidate. I'm like, well, get involved early, help us find a candidate. We're looking, when we look for candidates, we look for two things. One, they're willing to be a candidate and they're electable. You've got to have that, number one. And number two, they will work with us on our legislative agendas and legislative items and those types of things. It's not a hard request, but we have to find somebody willing to run. I mean, there are a lot of people who refuse to run, for whatever reason, family reasons, health issues, money issues, whatever it may be. But the real reason is because it's nasty. And it's very nasty. And one of the candidates that we were working with, I was talking to, he was, I think, probably a little shocked about how, in this case, Diane Mitchell was acting and the such. And I said, well, the only thing that I can say positive is, guess what? Those elections are a lot less nasty than what we deal with in the GOP. The GOP elections are extremely nasty, but it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to talk about issues and move forward. I would love to talk about issues because these people don't want to talk about issues, but I say they don't want to talk about issues because that's how they are promoting their agenda. They know we win on the discussion items. Life, liberty, freedom, all those smaller government, all those schools, all those things that we talk about. We can win on the principles and the policies. They don't want that. So what they do is they push these, these other narratives. Oh, he's funded by Soros. He's a liar. He's a
It's called
criminal.
lies.
What?
It's called lies.
Lies. Yes, that's what they do. So, but that's what you have to realize.
That leads to another question from
Okay,
our
okay.
Commissioner, Ms. Fisher.
Okay.
What commissioner? Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
Ms. Manning.
the remaining question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a question. Inquiring minds need to know why some Republicans, governmental folks, cannot seem to understand we are on the same side.
Well, Deborah's got an excellent point, and she too is an RNC delegate to Milwaukee and wherever we're going next summer for that RNC convention that Trump's calling. But Deborah, you're absolutely right. I mean, these elected officials as well as the employees, government, all governmental. I mean, we should be on the right side. We should be working together. I mean, we were literally at the David Pasco event last night. One of the people asking questions was sitting there saying, I have inside information where somebody has told me about documents that do exist. I send a FOIA request to get those documents, and then I'm told they don't exist. And then and they hear other communications of, oh, don't give that person those documents. David correctly said that is a crime. These people are committing a crime. They're not giving full transparency. Why should a government employee be trying to hide documents from somebody submitting a FOIA request? So what David Pasco committed to, which I took great pleasure in, is the fact that he's like, if someone is not answering FOIAs, you bring that to the Attorney General's office now, they will pursue it. He's like, I think if the Attorney General's office says you either provide the documents or we're going to sue you, that's going to motivate them to do that. But I mean, I've had to file FOIA lawsuits to get people to disclose stuff and that they refuse to do. It is a pain in the butt. I know how to do it. I know how to go through the process, but it is a pain. We know how the judges are. The judges don't favor us because the legislators are telling them, oh, we don't want him getting those documents. So that's we should all never we are a society. We should be all working together, and those folks should realize we're all on the same side of making a better world. But they're not. It's us versus them is what they seem to think. I'm not a proponent of us versus them, but I don't know how to get them to work more cooperatively. So maybe there needs to be some more sensitivity training. So
Well, I want to add to it that we're all for working together on the same mission,
Right.
but I have learned, we're not willing to work with people that we know they are undermining our mission. And
Okay.
sometimes it may not be obvious to the outsiders. I think we have seen enough to recognize it sooner, and we have seen enough to step away from that.
right, you
And-
can't have unity with people who don't want unity. You can't have unity
No.
with people who are stabbing you in the back, and you can't have unity with people you can't trust because they are stabbing you in the back. So that's what we're.
And in Trump words, when I have a video on my phone from Apprentice, and I love it, and I remind it to myself because I had to learn it, that you have to let people go. And you have to tell them that they are simply not welcome to be part of your team if they are undermining your work. So Trump said it, you have to get rid of them, you have to get rid of them loud and fast. So the message is out why, and it may sound harsh, get rid of them. But, like we all know, in our case, it's all volunteers. We have the same mission generally, and you can be part of the team or you don't have to. But we will just not allow the distraction.
It's I think it's the 80-20 rule. You spend 80% of your time on the 20% of the problems. You've got to get rid of those problems and move forward.
And we used to spend way too much time trying to help people resolve their problems. We used to really spent more time on
I
that.
mean, we have
Yeah.
we have a conflict resolution
Yeah.
committee. Greg Peck's here, he's on it. They tried very, very hard with some of the rhinos in the very beginning to get them to sit down, talk about conflict resolution, talk about, through a biblical way, all of those types of things. What we've discovered is they don't want to resolve the conflict.
That's the problem. It's rarely about a real disagreement. It's usually a reason that they don't want to be associated with certain people, but they will use some other excuse. And it's okay if you don't want to be. There are so many people. If you think about how many people we have involved, of course, people will not get along as far as personalities, right?
Yeah.
But that is up to us to put that aside. And you can work along the way with anyone if you focus on the mission and not whether you want to be best friend with someone. And if you cannot do that, you will just not be successful as a team player.
And we reach out. I mean, we're talking about it with some of the stuff that's going on in the pro-life area now, getting people together and getting them working on the same mission and all that type of stuff. But a lot of people want control. They want, I'm not sure what the exact thing want, but they're unwilling to come to the table. So to me, that's question number one. Anybody unwilling to come to the table, you're out. I don't really care what you say, what you do. The people that are willing to come to the table are the folks that will be on. I think, we need to be talking to. That's obviously the only people we can talk to. But we got to stop listening to the people that refuse to come to the table.
General von Manstein said there's basically 4 kinds of officers. You
Okay.
have your smart, lazy ones. They tend to be good commanders. You have your smart, energetic ones. They tend to be good staff officers. You have your stupid, lazy ones. They generally do no harm. You have your stupid, energetic ones. They need to be removed from the unit at all costs because it will destroy it.
The stupid.
I need that in
We need
writing.
that.
We need, who is that? General who?
Von
Yes.
Manstein, he is considered Germany's best World War II general.
I do need that in
The
writing.
stupid, energetic ones, yes. You're
Yes.
spot on. And that's what we have
And
seen.
that's, I think, who Trump refers to. You need to get
Rid
rid
of
of them
immediately.
out.
And that was, and Trump's comment was in on The Apprentice.
General von Manstein.
General von Manstein, apparently some World War II general from Germany. Yeah, but it's the one, and I'll give the example. You aren't gonna like the example. Maybe I shouldn't give the
Yeah,
example.
let's,
But I'm like, you're energetic. You want to start a group. You want to be a leader. You want to get up there with the microphone and talk with the microphone. And then you go do stupid stuff that costs, destroys the mission. We are trying to get Jerry Trousseau elected, so we can have a 4-3 majority on the Simpsonville County Council of Conservatives.
City council.
Simpsonville City Council. Did I say county council? Simpsonville.
Yeah.
County. It may end up being its own county one day. Not really. That's another thing they can take off that tape. But there are people that want to feel important that are hurting that campaign. Even though
You can
they're-
talk about that specific example.
Well, the specific example is the person he's running against is a gentleman by the
Don't
name.
mention names. We cannot mention names of opponents.
Okay, well, the opponent, the incumbent, goes
I don't even
on
know who he is.
No, we're not gonna.
goes to a meeting and is allowed to speak, by our people who are supposedly trying to help Jerry get elected.
Why Jerry couldn't attend the meeting
Because his wife was having surgery.
Was having a surgery. I'm like, why would you give audience to our candidates of all?
I'm not inviting. I mean, there's issues if they ask and all those types of things, but I'm not inviting the opponents of David Pascoe to come here and speak. I can't stop it if they ask me. We'll discuss it, and try to figure out a way. But
You have to follow the rules.
we have
Yeah.
to follow whatever the rules are. But I'm not going out there reaching, because guess what? I want to have a speaker at our supper club. I don't want speakers coming. We are an active group, and we are wanting to get things done, and we are wanting to support candidates in the primaries that are going to help us with our mission. Our mission is judicial reform. Our mission is eliminating corruption. We've been talking about that from day one. Does anybody think Stephen Goldfinch is going to, judicial reform or in corruption, or David Stumbo? No. But David Pascoe, that's what he is pushing. And
Well,
he,
plus they were trying to remove
Treasurer.
right,
Senator Locke, yeah.
treasurer of office,
Treasurer of
yes. And it was funny there, David actually had a
There was,
quote,
who was voted in.
who was voted in. So they're actually part of the corruption. And it was funny because one of Stumbo's slide, or David Pasco's slides had a quote from Stephen Goldfinch, Senator Stephen Goldfinch, where he said that he did not want to go after treasurer of office. And we played the whole 10 hours in simulcast and the such. He said he didn't want to do it except for the fact that President Alexander of the Senate and Larry Grooms made him do it, asked him to do it. And I'm like, okay,
So
really?
we want you to be our AG, yeah. okay.
And now you want to be the AG, but you're going to sit there and do whatever, the Senate leadership and Larry Grooms tells you to go after a duly elected, literally the most popular candidate or elected official of this entire state, Curtis Loftus.
Deborah says, spot on, Jeff. Judicial reform and close elections are just the start.
Closed primaries are our number one issue. And, we passed 7 legislative agenda items at our special meeting Thursday a week ago, and we are going to be pushing those hard. I'll go through the date timelines again. Obviously, we got this November 7th stuff. As soon as we're done with, November 4th, the elections, as soon as we're done with the elections, we're turning the machine for our legislative agenda and what we're doing there. Because the legislature goes back in January.
Yeah, our next meeting for legislative committee will be the Thursday after elections.
Yes, so the elections will be on
I'll
January
be sending out people on
The
on
6th.
the chat. Yes.
The 6th.
the 6th. So the next legislative agenda,
Strike while the iron's hot.
correct, will be the 6th. And what we're going to do is we're going to get active. We're going to run campaigns. Just like we run campaigns for candidates, we're going to run campaigns for these legislative items. Now, we got to figure out, I did find out from a House rep early, pre-filing is going to be in December. So we're either going to find the right bills to back, or we're going to write new bills and get them pre-filed. And then we are going to aggressively go after all of,
The 7.
the seven items. And we're going to aggressively get out there. I'm not saying aggressive in an offensive manner. I mean, aggressive in, we're not going to slow down until we get it. We are going to
We're gonna be
find
the-
out the positions of elected officials and get them on.
Pressure on it.
We're gonna be the smart, energetic type.
Right.
We're going to put enough pressure on them to make them come out and say which way they're really going to go.
Right. And explain it to them, not take the excuses, we'll look at it when legislative session is. And then when they get into legislative session, they say, we're too busy
Too
right now
busy,
to
we
look
can't
at
get
it.
to it.
Let's wait till after the session. I mean, we are going to, find out where these people stand and it's in the best interest of the people. They
Yeah.
need to understand that and back to Deborah's point, we are on the same team. If these people campaign for closed primaries, they campaign for school choice, they campaign for, election integrity and all these types of things. But they somehow find excuse to not do it when they're there. But we are going to aggressively, from a process and procedure standpoint, start pursuing those. And then, then next will be the June primaries, and then we got the November school board elections, and then we got reorg of 2027. Yes, Bob.
There is a Zone 7 meeting, which we have previously scheduled for October 29th. We'll be getting out a message about that. But if there's anything you'd like to bring up, include for that Zone 7 meeting, let us know.
For next.
This October 29th,
Okay. So
Zone
it's next
7
Wednesday.
meeting,
Next week.
Okay.
next week.
The big thing is the elections. Getting people turnout.
So is any kind of a project we should be working on for that meeting? Anything you want us to focus on? I know the elections. How should we go about that is the question. I guess.
I mean, we
I
can
have an
get some
idea.
phone numbers and do some
Yeah.
call banking.
Or what we could do,
We're
and I
about
don't know
action.
if that, it wasn't a priority, but I have few people that, message me and I'm going to help them that they wanted to do some poll watching on election day. Again, we did not, it's a small election this time, it's only municipal, so we
Right.
did not focus on like pole washers. We didn't really deploy, but if anyone is interested, I have the training, and I can either do a quick training even through Zoom, or with some individuals, I'm going to basically send them the training. They can train themselves because they've done it before. So that's one of the items in case that's not our priority, but if someone wants to do it on election day, go be a poll
Right.
watcher.
You can do the poll watcher if you're interested in that, or you can actually represent one of our clients in meeting
My
clients.
voters.
So, one of our candidates.
Our candidates.
Council candidates.
But one of our candidates, and actually handshake, welcome people to the polls. So there are ways you can do that legally.
Which is part of the poll watcher training. So
Yes.
either way, it's the same training. You will have to learn the same rules, whether you're a campaign greeter or you're a poll watcher.
So
And then after that, after the voting, we have December.
what's
Well,
in
we have
December?
Thanksgiving. But then right after Thanksgiving, in December, we have our Christmas party.
Oh, are you trying to change the subject?
Yes, I am. I want to get it in before we run out of time.
Okay, December 1st.
December 1st, on Monday night.
Yes. What's happening? Mark your camera.
Do what?
Worker Kelly.
Talk to the camera.
No.
Yeah.
December 1st will be our Christmas party at Cannon Center.
In Greer.
In
The
Greer.
Greer Cannon
It's
Center.
Greer.
Greer
Yeah.
Cannon Center.
Grr.
Greer. Doors will open at 6:30 till 10. So we're still working on the details, more to come out about that, but we have the location and everything. And we're having it, it's not going to be the GOP Christmas party. It's going to be in an upstate.
It's the upstate GOP crew.
Upstate GOP. I mean, it's not just going to be Greenville, so we're including other people. Also, we always have a silent auction. If anyone is interested in donations, or if you have of a business that would like to donate to us, we are accepting that, and hopefully by November the 15th. That way we'll have plenty of time to get it ready. If you need help, call the headquarters. We'll be more than happy to help you with that.
You want to give some ideas what people donated in the past?
Yeah, what we've done in the past, gift cards always works out good for different restaurants and stuff. Different businesses will donate. And then we had gift baskets from some of the like for dogs and cats. Like if you have a groomer that might want to help, do a package of some sort. And then what else did we have?
Beach houses.
Oh yeah,
mountain
big cabins,
homes.
beach houses, if you have that. We do have 2 members that do donate their cabins, which we appreciate that. So if you have anything like
We got a
that,
big stainless steel grill.
that was fun. We did it a little different last year, and hopefully we'll do it this year. Anything? No, the dogs are. We don't want to give the dogs up. I don't know though.
If someone
Some auctions do, and they do make a lot of money off of
we
the
could
dogs.
definitely auction.
I mean, yeah, I guess we could
How
try
about
it.
how about that cat?
My cat.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
no-tail.
the no-tail cat with the prosthetic. No. I mean, we'll take a hot tub, golf cart, any of that stuff.
We've seen golf cars before, but the
Yeah.
Christmas party, what we do, I mean, it's normally,
That's one of our biggest fundraisers.
it is, but and we normally charge like $20 for
Right.
the Christmas party. I think this year we're going to try to do it catered,
And we're trying to cater it this
so
year,
it'll
so
be
none of us
easier for
kill
people.
ourselves.
So people have worked pretty hard in the past.
Right.
We
Oh
wanna
my gosh,
have
yes.
a little bit of reward.
So we're trying to get it where we don't have to go up on the cost. So, and
And then
then
we do a silent auction as part of the fundraiser. But
Fundraisers.
we got
To
a
cover the cost of the
DJ.
party.
Somebody's
we
donated
do
a
have a DJ.
DJ.
Yes, we had yes, he was donated.
We need to
Thank
get an
you.
email out about it.
And then the
I just
following
talked to Jeff Brown.
Sunday will be the Christmas
Just talking
parade.
to Jeff Brown.
This is why I brought this big bag of candy. I know candy's gone up this year. We can pass candy out. I got this at Sam's. I don't work for Sam's or promote Sam's. But if anyone, I know what we've done in the past. If you don't want to bring candy, I'll take if you want to donate some money, I'll just order it from Sam's. But we'll need candy to pass out. So we need walkers. So if anyone is interested in participating in the Greer Parade, it's December the 7th. I think we start lining up at 7, but they haven't really done the call yet. We have 1 o'clock, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no, December 7th. Isn't that
Oh,
that Sunday?
I thought you said 7 lining up.
No, lineups, I might have, I'm
Arbor Day.
sorry.
No,
You
okay.
did.
I did, I'm sorry. Okay. My brain goes too fast. Sorry, lineup, we normally do around 1 o'clock.
And this is on a Sunday.
On a
So December
Sunday.
7th is a Sunday. It is a lot of fun.
It is. We have a good time. I mean, last year was great because Trump was running, so that was a lot of fun. I am still looking at other parades that don't conflict with ours. But again, we pass out candy. We can't throw candy because if you hit a child in the head, it can be a lawsuit. We can't litter. And of course, we cannot pass out political stuff. So what I did last year is I took the candy, put it in baggies, and put our information on the baggies. And there was no complaints about that. So I don't know if I'll do that again this year, but we'll see.
The main thing is litter. They don't want.
They don't want the litter and stuff like that because most people throw stuff down, and we don't want to get fined. There's a big fine, and you'll be kicked out of the parade. So
This will be what, the third year we've
this
done?
will be the 3rd year we've done it. Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun.
They play music, loud music.
Yeah,
We'll play,
we'll have
we'll have the
music
big
going.
speaker. We'll do.
It'll be the same two
YMCA and all that
vehicles.
stuff.
Keith Jones will use his Mercedes. Jeff will not be riding in the back like Yvonne did. He will be riding in the seat. Doing the Queen wave like Yvonne did. And then my vehicle will be behind. So people can ride with my car. You can walk and pass out candy.
And I think
just
we
can't-
talked
we
about pulling a trailer.
We had, if anyone has a trailer, yeah, we can put people on the back of the trailer.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to walk as
We
much.
wouldn't have to
So
walk as much. So if anyone knows of a trailer,
I think we're trying to figure
figure it
if
out
we
because
can
I've
do
got
that.
to turn in all the paperwork because we got to have the link.
Okay.
So those are 2 important dates that I have for right now.
Okay. And what other?
Arbor Day.
What
For
are?
Harbor Day, I didn't even realize that.
It is
Right?
for Harbor Day. Yeah. The other thing Olga's is hopefully putting up on the screen, November 15th, that's a Saturday. That is going to be a training. It's the
Oh, that's
faculty
right.
training. It's a full day of training. I think it's fantastic. I've done it several times. Olga's done it, but there's no cost to it. And it's going to be over on Pelham Road. This is the Liberty Activist Boot Camp that Liberty Action is doing. It's all part of Young Americans for Liberty and all that kind of stuff. You know,
Did they give lunch?
there'll be lunch.
lunch,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Olga signed up the other day. They will call you. Dan Stewart will probably call you to say, hey,
Okay.
thanks for signing up. How'd you hear about it? All that type of stuff. But it's a great training. I will tell you, when I first took it, it was jaw dropping because I'm sitting there, all I could do was sit there and say, yeah, they did that to us. They did this. You got to learn the political tricks.
Mhm. There's
You
a
know,
lot.
we need to understand them. We don't want to utilize, we don't want to become what we're purging. We don't want to play dirty tricks and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people think that is okay. We do not. But it runs from 9 to 5 p.m. It will, they are doing one November 8th down in Mount Pleasant, and we're doing ours up here on November 15th. So
Okay, how's the best way to sign up?
Olga's
I will
got the
post it under Greenville GOP events, but it's not there yet. If you give us until tonight, I'll post it.
Yeah,
Because
you can
their
go to
website is-
greenvillegop.com/events. We'll put it into the chat. We'll send out emails, but I would highly encourage as many people as possible to come.
It's really, really fun.
It is about
It
the
is.
real nature of politics.
Mhm.
And if you don't fully understand what these people are willing to do, I mean, they're, we work with them, we talk to some of, the consultants, they're all, the lobbyists, they're trying to accomplish what they want. They don't really care if it's right or wrong, if it's the right candidate, if it's the right legislation. They are being paid by somebody to get something done. If you do not know what your enemy is willing to do and what they are doing, they are going to beat you. So you need to at least be aware of it. I don't get upset about some of the things that go on because I understand it, but also need to know how to battle it back. We try to battle it back by spreading more truth and bringing up real facts and letting people know about it. They still don't even want to sometimes believe that. But I mean, you've got to bring, that's how you really battle it back. I've told people, in some of our battles, I mean, we're successful because we stick to the truth. We don't manipulate. Short-term benefit of manipulating will destroy you long-term. So even if it's difficult to tell you the truth now, at least, we're being honest about it or confessing we made a mistake or something like that, that you'll at least hopefully trust us in the longer term. I watch people all the time that are lying and cheating and stealing and doing things today that I'm like, you're destroying yourself, your foundation, and what you say you claim to support long term. So, but it is on the 15th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They will have lunch and snacks and breaks and stuff like that. But it really truly is a fantastic training. So I mean, we could do it ourselves and all that stuff, but they're willing to do it. And
I think for us, when we went for the first time, and like Jeff said, we attended probably 5, 6, 7 from different organizations, not just the one. For us, it was realization that we were not crazy. We were not crazy thinking that people are not being truthful and honest. It was realization that us trying to become more assertive, it's okay because people are not being truthful and honest. It was an eye-opener, and we sat, I will never forget, we sat there and we were just checking off, like putting these check marks when they were giving examples what people will do. And we're like, yep, they did this, they did that, they did this. Oh, I guess now we have to wait for that, because it's almost like this pattern of the tricks that people will try to get rid of activists. Like when you first join the grassroots people, especially, they will try to run you off. And then when you actually get involved, that takes it to another level. But I guess we have learned a lot, and like Jeff said, you all should join us, and it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of
It's
fun.
free.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free.
It's free lunch.
You get
So
fed.
last weekend or the weekend before, we did a training in the Leadership Institute. Did it over in Spartanburg. That was more campaign oriented.
Yeah.
This same group did one 2 or 3 weeks ago down in Columbia that Terry and I both drove down to. We had I think Emerson and Dylan actually came too, which was more campaign oriented. As we kind of try to build out the techniques and tactics of running campaigns, it's very similar to what we'll do on the legislative stuff. It's how do you reach out? How do you get more people to reach out? How do you do those types of things? And sometimes things that used to work don't work anymore. So you always have to be on the kind of leading edge and cutting edge, on bleeding edge, all that type of stuff. But you really have to at least get a good, solid foundation. I think this class will give you a good, solid foundation of what's out there. I mean, we're not, as they will compare in other countries, if they will literally kill you if you are their political opponent. That almost seems like they're trying
Well,
to.
they're
They're
here
moving.
now.
We're moving in that direction, which is
Yeah.
actually quite frightening.
Yeah.
But it is a blood sport, and it is a fight, and it's a fight for liberty. And we're not toward a kinetic war, or it's not like the Revolutionary War, Civil War, that type of stuff. But I'm like, if we don't fix some things sooner, that's where these things evolve to. And we need to, be aware and educate people and educate the, constituents as much as we can, and get their participation in it. So that's what I think this class will be very helpful for you. So we're going to push that really hard for November 15th. And the other thing that we're pushing very hard, in addition to the legislative stuff after November 4th elections, will be our membership drive. We want to push for 5,000 paid members of the Greenville County Republican Party by next reorg. But if we can get 5,000 for 2026, that will be fine, fantastic. So we are going to sit there and be pushing, really a marketing plan to get out there and get more people that on our list that are paid members, that can get involved in committees, that can get involved in doing things, and fight back on some of the lies and non-truths that are out there, and really take the lead of what Greenville's already the leader of the state of what we're kind of doing, but we really need to step it up. If we're going to step it up, if we're going to be successful, we are on the brink of success. I mean, Lee Bright's election, Steve Nails, right there, get that runoff. We are on the brink. And it's funny to watch some certain people try to take credit for it, but it is very funny. I didn't see. it is hilarious. I mean, we keep our head down and do the work, and it's funny. You know, somebody said, "Oh, well, I made a Facebook post, so I get all the credit
Oh, yeah.
for Leroy getting over the finish line." I don't really care. We're going to push very hard, and we are so close to the brink of success. And you know, on all of these legislative issues, the process has always been, number one, get control of the SCGOP, you know, all the counties and the state, so we can get the bully pulpit, so we can get better candidates, so we can get better legislation. Now, obviously, we can't wait every 2 years, and you know, so we got to do our stuff to get better candidates. But Lee Bright is the type of candidate we wanted to get elected. And guess what? What I told Lee when he was considering running for this position, he ran for it last June. I said, Lee, the difference between last June of 2024 in whatever we are, November, October of 2025, is Spartanburg County GOP has been purged, and we have America First people running the Spartanburg GOP. The Spartanburg GOP backed Lee. The Spartanburg GOP carried their weight, got behind him, did their stuff. We here in Greenville did our stuff, and we got Lee Bright elected. If somebody's got a problem with that, let me know.
And the establishment threw a lot of money into it.
Yeah, the establishment
They
did.
did not want him there.
Yes, they did, and you know, they really did. And but Lee you know, pulled it out. But where he pulled it out is because you know there was a difference. There was not the Spartanburg GOP was not working against him. They were working for him. Now, I think that's what we were elected to do. I don't think people elected us. I certainly did not campaign on it. Our leadership group did not campaign on, oh, we're going to just treat everybody fair. We're going to be, no, we campaigned on, we are MAGA, America First. We're supporting the SCGOP platform, and get out of our way. You know, if you're not part of that. So, I mean, I've had some people that, oh, that's a little too aggressive for me. Or, oh, I didn't really, yes, I got elected to my position thinking, you know, that, but I'm like, you know, I'm not comfortable, you know, doing that. I'm like, that's what we ran for. You know, I mean, I literally told people, if you don't want me to do it, elect somebody else. I don't care. But this is what we're here to do. And we got elected overwhelmingly to do that. And that is what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, resign and move on, or find some other way to you know, do whatever you want to do. I don't really care. But I mean, don't ask us who sat there and campaigned on pushing the South SCGOP platform, the Republican platform, and getting people like Lee Bright elected. You know, we want to follow and comply with all the rules, but we're here to get something done. I'm not here for a supper club. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to, you know, be buddies with all the elected officials. I don't care what they say about me. I care about what legislation they're passing, and we are making a lot of successes. You know, nobody talked about judicial reform before 4 years ago. David Pascoe started it because we invited him.
And all the grief you took for doing
And
that.
I took a ton of grief for it. And even David Pascoe brought up Joe White, you know, is pushing that. He brought it up last night. And I'm like, yep. And he cursed me. He cussed me out, but he chewed me up one side, down the other for having David Pascoe come. And now guess what? That's his whole thing, judicial reform. I'm like, you know, he's not going fast enough and he's making other mistakes. But, you know, I'm like, why don't you start listening to us? This is what we have been fighting. And I knew about judicial reform because I've suffered through, you know, court cases and dealing with lawyers. I mean, I have literally had meetings with judges with opposing counsel there, walked out of the meeting and opposing counsel tell me, I've never seen a judge do that. I mean, there is a major problem in our judiciary, and it needs to get fixed. And I've seen it. I've had judges sit there and ask me, where am I from in Georgia? Because they've all heard the lies and the rumors that were started by people that I've been disbarred. That's all this type of stuff that's out there. And that's what we're fighting. And that's why that class on November 15th, I think, is so important, because you will, you know, those guys, I mean, they play dirty. They lie. Somebody has actually asked me, apparently there was something out there saying the Democrats were supporting Diane Mitchell and all that kind of stuff. People ask me, where do you think that originated from? I'm like, probably from her supporters. I mean, that's the type of craziness that is out there. Her supporters could have originated something that there was an attack on her so she could get some sort of sympathy
And you go
Get
back
on the
for it.
radio.
and get on the radio the day of
Report on it.
election and cry
Everything out
and
there.
like, you know, like,
I don't know, we have
Yeah.
so many members in the district.
Mhm.
I'm yet, again, I don't know, but I'm yet to find one citizen of that district that received that text message.
Yeah.
So don't, like, and don't tell me they send it to everyone, but
The people that you vote for.
several hundred members that we know that live in the district. Maybe, we just don't know.
you don't know, but you have to understand that that is what some people are willing to do. We're not willing to do it. I mean, what we send out stuff, I will put my name to it. I will put the Greenville GOP's name to it.
Which is
Yeah.
great because
As well.
people call you back. It's
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
no, I got several calls. Some good, some not so good.
But even
But you know
the
what?
not so
We're
good,
being honest about it,
it's-
and this
yeah,
is, you know,
it's just very interesting because you can figure out the roles or mark who, like this, there was one person that maybe was not happy of what we sent, but also he had to throw Trump in the mix. Like, how can you complain
yes.
about this person? Look at what Trump is doing.
this was a person that supported Diane Mitchell,
Yeah.
and of course he was trashing Trump, and I'm like, okay, that's what I would expect from a Diane Mitchell.
It's really great information to make a note, like, hey, this is not a Trump person.
So, but that's, you know, we're pushing it hard and we're having great success. And I tell you, I'm really excited about the June elections next year. You know, David Pascoe, Curtis
Yes.
Loftus, the new governor, whoever that might be,
Mhm.
it's going to shake some things up. I will tell you, I think the 4th is the election. I think on the 7th, Friday Coffee and Politics, we're going to have, I think, Mark Burkhold. He's running for comptroller. He's in Charleston, down at Isle of Palms or Sullivan's Isle. He's going to dial in, so we're going to interview him to get that out there. The next week we'll interview. I think we're going to have Nancy Mace come on, and we're going to start, you know, lining some people up so we can at least talk to them, interview them here, and kind of spread the word on that. I think it'll be easier to kind of get some. Y'all are here. Think about some questions that we can ask them.
Yes, the questions don't have to be pre-scripted.
They
You
don't
will
have-
be able to ask
Yes.
them.
Is there any information out there about when Nance is gonna come up and
Yes.
speak in the upstate?
He was here the other day. He was dropping by as he was going to go speak over at the Clemson College Republicans. I told them we are tied up through elections,
Yeah.
but we will get him on one Friday where we can at least interview and talk to him and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll schedule something for him to come up and actually sit down with a larger
We
group.
definitely wanna hear from
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's an interesting
This is
guy.
the only one
Yeah.
left for us to listen to, and I'd like to hear.
Right. No, I fully agree. And I think it'll be easy to get him on
Yeah.
podcast on this Coffee and Politics where we can interview and talk to him, but also get a larger group up here that can, you know, and to me, I look at a larger group, you know, where we can ask some questions here, I'm in a casual environment, you know, not just I'll get up there and they give their spiel and they're in and out the door. The people that I've talked to that have had Dan's come to their meetings across the state have said, you know, the guy showed up an hour and a half early, met and talked to everybody, gave his presentation, stayed an hour and a half late and worked and talked to everybody. While the same people said, well, yeah, Pamela Vett drove up as the event was supposed to start, gave her speech and left immediately. You know, there's certain politicians that don't want to answer the questions. I mean, at least Ralph Norman was there at the one that he sat around and answered all the questions that you want to ask.
Instead, as long as
Yeah.
people are asking.
We're asking questions.
Yes, we want people that will talk to us. I might not have gotten the answers I was looking for. Certainly didn't get the follow-up I was looking for.
Yeah.
But, you know, but his people said, you know, when they were here the other day, they're like, you know, let's talk immediately after the board and figure something out. So, but you're right. I think he's important.
Presentation on TV, so we need to do it this week.
Oh, yes. We've talked about that, so we can see it and we'll get the volume
The
and all
volume
that
and
kind
all
of
that,
stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
I called dibs on first question with Nancy.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
boy.
Wonder what it would
Getting back to
Can you
these
handle
candidates coming up and meeting in a larger group,
Yes.
one of the things I look at is the number of people that are showing up, because that tells me the community interest.
I will tell you, this early in the election cycle, there's not that much community
But
interest.
still, you know,
As we get closer to the June primary, there'll be more community interest. But it's good for us, or whoever at least is interested, to help figure out these candidates, and so you can start helping them through the election, however you want to do it. So, but yeah, it can be sad. I mean, nobody's thinking about the governor. No, they're really not. You know,
sure.
it's early for them. Yes, sir.
You have a preference for governor right now at this
Um,
stage of the game?
My preference for governor, there's 5 people running.
it?
Josh Kimbrell's a no-go. I mean, you know, I think his legal problems and all that stuff, there's a problem.
It's a big anchor.
Alan Wilson, I think he has some other issues that are coming up. I'm not sure exactly, but sometime in November, there's some sort of hearing. His numbers are not as high. He's raised a fair amount of money, I think. I don't think his numbers are as high as I would have expected. He's been AG for 16 years, and I think there's some more. I think why his numbers are not higher is because of some of these other things that may come out with him funneling money to certain other lawyer friends of his and some things like that.
Yeah.
Who else? We got Pamela Vett. She won't sit down. She won't talk to us. You know, you can't. You know, we can't support. I mean, whether she's the best thing since sliced bread, we can't support her. So who do you got left? You got Nancy Mason, Ralph Norman. That's the crowd that I see most of our people, the MAGA America First folks, supporting. I see a lot more supporting Nancy Mace than I do Ralph Norman. Me personally, I'm more Nancy Mace than Ralph Norman because I know the people that are around Nancy Mace. You know, the Austin McCubbin ran the Trump campaign and helped Trump win here in South Carolina. He's running Nancy's campaign. He's run one of her congressional campaigns in the past. The people I see around Ralph Norman, they're of one of 2 classes. They're either winos that are part of the SCGOP, and I'm like, why are you hiring those people? Or they're the Freedom Caucus folks that don't talk to us, that do all that kind of thing. And I don't see his numbers being very good either. He's kind of down there. So to me, I think the front runner is probably Nancy Mace. The way I've couched it with people that don't like her temperament or her personality is the fact, you know, is I'll say 2 things. Number one, the governor is not that powerful of a position, but they do have the bully pulpit, and she will use the bully pulpit. I think she will get down there and chew butt and say things and get on camera and do, you know, get the word out. And she is talking about corruption and judicial reform and all the things that we are supportive of. So education reform, yes, we'll talk to her substantially about that. So she's talking about it. And then, but the second thing that usually gets people is like, you may not like Nancy, but Nancy's exactly what Columbia deserves. Yes, set her loose on those people down there and let her chew them up. And, you know, I think our agenda will move further, it will be further advanced with her as governor than as Ralph Norman. I don't see Ralph Norman as the guy pounding the table doing something.
Ralph Norman's more of the go along to get along with the crowd.
I believe the press would be pretty much camping out outside of Dr. Mansion if Nancy was in there. Just to hear what she's got to say.
They'll build a daggum special building right next to her house.
But and I think partially that is because we're more Trump supporters. I mean, I get it. I mean, I want a guy that's up there yelling and screaming and saying, "Hey, there's a problem here. Why is nobody listening to it?"
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about Trump as president, and I'm happy with a gal up there. But I think Nancy Mace would do that in Columbia, and I think we need somebody that's going to call attention. There are some major freaking problems, And Ralph Norman has known about it, and he hadn't said a damn word.
Until
Where's he been?
Now all of a sudden he's saying stuff.
Now he's
Yeah, now
saying
he's saying
stuff
stuff.
during campaign season. You know, Nancy Mason's at least been out there saying a bunch of stuff for a long time.
Even if it's crazy.
She did go off on some tangent with Trump, you know, at some point in time, but a lot of these people have. It was 21. It was, yeah, it's been a while. And she's learned from it.
Their fences since then.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. I've been a Trump supporter from day one and never wavered. So but I realize that's probably unusual, you know. So, but I mean, I come at and look at this stuff at a very different perspective of the battle and the fight that we've been having. And I remember him from reading the book, The Art of the Deal, from the old days, and you know, and I kind of get where he's coming from. And it's New York. I mean, my father lived in Morristown, New Jersey, and I spent 3 summers during college up there. So I get how these New York people are. And it doesn't bother me. I'm like, it's okay. It's accepting people for who they are, and that's just how they communicate. That's how Trump communicates. You know, Nancy's from here, you know, or Goose Creek or whatever. So, you know, but she has adopted that style. You know, but so have a lot of people. I mean, you know, JD Vance did not. I mean, I think there's some nasty stuff he said about Trump.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's obviously a ton of nasty stuff Lindsey Graham said about Trump, but somehow Trump got Lindsey Graham in a box, and then Lindsey does what Trump wants, which, you know, causes us a problem with our senatorial race. But you know, we got to deal with that. Find out. You have an update?
Yes.
What's going on in the pro-life world?
Okay.
Lots.
Quite a bit. S23, of course, they had its hearing a couple weeks ago. It's going to have another hearing on the 18th. It will not
This
be.
is Richard Cash's
Yes.
bill S323.
Yes, there'll be no hearing. It's just going to be the subcommittee getting together. I'm pretty excited about that because unlike McCravy's bill where it just got forgotten, they're actually doing something with it.
So when are they gonna do that?
November 18th.
And are you planning on going down there, or do you want us to broadcast it here and just
I was
comment
not.
and talk about it?
Yeah, I was not planning on going down there for this one since there won't be any testimony. Another thing that's been going on in relation to it is all the different pro-life factions are now arguing about unity, which I think is good. But as you said earlier, you can only serve one master. And what is it? Is your master saving unborn children, or is your master incrementalism? Is your master abolitionism? Is your master what the donors think? I mean, I have a list, probably about 20 different things I've seen just from 4 groups arguments that pop up. If there's a chance to save lives, we ought to do it. We ought to take advantage of it and put all the excuses aside. Believe it or not, I've even seen feminism as an excuse.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because that's how we have abortion in the first place. How dare you, and how dare you make life uncomfortable for a woman?
Yeah.
We need abortion. Now they're saying, well, how dare we save lives because this woman might have to go to jail. So that's all kind of sad. So I've had 2 groups in particular have reached out. Matt? I'm sorry, the names are too similar. Matt Clark from Personhood wants to get a coalition together, and he's invited me, and I gave him before I gave him an answer, I told him where I stood, which is this whole what master are we serving talk, and he said he's cool with it, so I'm part of that. We also have Mike Collins from EP is wanting to get a summit together. We haven't been formally invited, but I heard about it, so I emailed him on my own initiative and also gave him this 2-master talk. And that I did that yesterday.
But our position, correct me, but I think our position is we want to save as many babies as possible.
Yes.
We want to get the strongest bill that we can passed. We don't want to destroy the opportunity to get a strong bill passed. So
Correct.
we are to a certain extent okay with incrementalism, but we want to push as hard as possible to get it. I've always said it because I want South Carolina to be the most conservative state in the nation to keep these liberals from moving here. So that's how we kind of convince people, hey, we have a strong, I'm happy for us to have the strongest abortion law that we can get.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the ultimate goal is a complete ban on abortion, but unless and until an incremental bill goes head to head against an abolition bill, there's no reason we can't support both.
Right.
It's only if the two actually come head to head, like there's a hearing in the Senate and there's a hearing in the House at the same time. You know, that way you're saving lives either way, because there's also, I understand there's some other issues, but the number one issue where everything else is secondary needs to be saving lives. It may not be, Cash's bill may not be the right bill. I don't care. It's the bill right now.
Right. And I don't say that because I think a lot of people say a little bit of what I just said as an excuse not to push for the hard bill. So that's where the art and the science, we need to make sure people aren't using incrementalism as a excuse for not going after the biggest, best bill we can get. We have to expose where people really stand. We have to always still be educating the people out there about what life is about. I mean, there's a lot of people that, there's a learning spectrum. There is a time period when I thought abortion was okay. It's not my position to tell a woman what to do. I have over time evolved in that thought process.
Clarify that was like a long time.
It was a very long time.
Long time, yeah.
But something at some stage flipped when I started looking at, well, we're not talking about telling a woman what to do. There's another life in there, and we're destroying that life. And there's a lot of people have not thought about that being a life. They just think it's a clump of cells, and because we've been educated about it, just like we've been educated that oil coming out of the ground with dinosaurs. I'm like, that's not what it is. I mean, it is a life, and life begins at conception.
Yes.
And once you start thinking about it, and you try to start going through the logic and what it all means, then your mindset changes. I don't beat up on people who aren't as caught up on the learning curve as I may feel I am now. There may be more things I need to learn. We're all learning and evolving in that respect. So we can't just slap those people in the face. So we need to continue to educate them on the importance of valuing life. Because I look at the bigger picture too. If you don't value life, like the Nazis did not value life. So it was okay to throw people in gas chambers. I mean, if you don't value life in the beginning, you're not going to value life on the backside. And I actually, it's a difficult discussion to have. But I mean, even with the death penalty, they've done something. So there's a difference between. So I get that piece. I like to try to tout it as well. It costs a whole lot more to put somebody to death.
And the death penalty, outside the obvious judicial procedure, that the convicted has had a trial. Actually, he's had at least 2 trials. Not only has he been convicted guilty, he had to be convicted that death is the solution. Whereas, and he's had, there was 2 attorney teams that were debating the pros and cons of each, and then there was a judge who was making sure the attorneys played by the rules, and then you had the 12-person jury to make up. None of that
death
applies
penalties
to
has a
abortion.
whole different thing.
None of that applies with abortion.
Right, none of that. So I agree. The abortions question is a whole lot easier than the death penalty question.
Yeah, it's clear cut, and anyone who brings up the death penalty is deliberately trying to muddy the waters on what's otherwise a crystal clear issue. And speaking of which, next month, Lisa Van Riper from SCCO will be, I'll be hosting her for a meet and greet. And
what's the topic of that again, now that we're closer to it?
South Carolina Citizens for Life.
Right.
She's going to talk about what they are, what they represent.
And Lisa Van Riper is from here in Greenville. So, but what is she just going to talk about generally?
Yeah, I expect her to talk about SCCL generally, what they're about, what their goals are, things that they've done. I am going to ask the hard question on why they basically tried to sabotage S323 the day before the hearing. And I'm not saying she is personally responsible for that decision, but nonetheless, she is a senior executive in the organization. So I want to hear the answer to that.
When are you having that?
That is November 10, November 10.
They do it at Denny's.
Yes, this will be at Denny's. So that everyone else knows, I've been working with Jeff trying to get Solicitor Crick for a meeting.
We were not happy with the performance of the solicitor's office in the
Kiwanis trial.
Kiwanis trial. So we're just gonna, it's a good excuse, good reason to get to meet with her and have a discussion and figure out why that was a collapse.
Yeah. And she's been involved in some other, before she was solicitor, she was involved. She was the one who was in charge of the February trial, where she took 18 charges against Kiwani and reduced them down to 3. And then basically Kiwani got a slap in the wrist for all 3.
Yeah, and I think she actually represented maybe the Quinns and the Quinn issue, which is what was the corruption charges, that David Pascoe did. So she may be been on the other side of that too. We don't know. I mean, but I have heard that she's going to run for re-election, not for that position. So we need to, we need to meet her to find out if that's the candidate, or we need to find a candidate. So.
Right now, and if we can't make progress with her, I'm already starting to think of a couple of attorneys. Russell Guest was very sympathetic to us a couple of months ago, if you remember.
Yes, he was.
So, yeah, if not him, maybe he knows someone who would as well.
Run for office?
Yeah, run against her. So I want to see what she has to say first, but I'm already thinking about the worst case scenario for that.
I mean, we're very active in elections. So we love countywide elections.
All right.
We're loving elections more and more every day.
And
Since we are
she
since we are the kiss of death, apparently, for the opponent, as opposed to our candidate.
And she really needs to listen to us, in my opinion, because she represents Greenville and Pickens. Well, I feel very confident about how Greenville GOP feels, and I see you becoming best friends with the Pickens people. I think this is a meeting she needs to have.
I think the Pickens people were of like mind with us, so I'm not worried about that.
Moving on to.
Speaking of, though, I will tell you, Pickens, we do have some dates. I'll let you finish yours, but we do have some dates on their reorg and some stuff like that. So I love reorg. I'm super excited about the Pickens reorg and what we can do to help them.
Moving on to my events, and then to finish up, I already talked about SCCL. Want to remind people about the golf tournament that Flourish Adoptions is hosting on the Friday, the 14th of November.
Okay.
Still working. Well, we're going to make this happen. We're going to do Horton Hatches the Egg and Elf for our December educational outreach.
Yeah.
Actually going to try and do something uplifting, since so much of what pro-life is actually depressing. I mean, you do get success stories when you hear about women who decide to have the child, or you hear about a woman saying, "I was I'm the result of rape, and my mother chose to keep me." But generally, it's a pretty dark business. And you're dealing with a bunch of people that are simply crazy, which leads into my final one I'm going to talk about, and that's my talk on socialism, January 12th. And basically going to talk about what it is and how to recognize it, specifically how to recognize it in yourself and those that agree with you on things, because in my opinion, one of the reasons why socialism is so successful is because it's so insidious. So many people unconsciously are embracing ideas, or at least don't question certain things that they probably ought to question.
Right.
And even if it's only a little bit of a difference, generally speaking, America is so well balanced, you don't need a huge difference. So even a little bit of an edge has been given to the left, to the lunatic left. And of course, they didn't have a hard sell with all the rest of the leftists, but it's an amazing number how many people otherwise on the right are unwittingly and unknowingly supporting some of the crazier ideas.
That's why the fight for liberty is a constant fight, because I mean the other side is always there. it doesn't seem very threatening, and before you know it, you're supporting boys and girls sports, and it's like all of a sudden it just slipped up on you, and you're like, how in the heck how did we get here? So I mean that's what they do. They have a long-term plan, and it all sounds good and nice until you actually start seeing how it's evolved. They know what they're doing up front, and we don't have any idea, and it just gets worse and worse over time.
I think, listening to a lot of stuff over the last 10 months since we've been coming, or years, the biggest problem is people are willing to sit, bitch, and complain about things, but not get involved in effective change.
Yep.
That is the biggest problem.
And a lot of that comes from, it doesn't make any difference, they're both the same. It's like, no, it's not the same. There are bad people on the right, but we're not the ones burning down cities, we're not the ones assassinating people. And that's the socialist idea, is that there's no, is that
gotta sit
everything
and
is the
talk with
same.
these people, otherwise you're not gonna get in.
But a lot of them just like to watch the TV, bitch and moan, complain, and then go back to watching football. Get involved, do stuff. That's why we want to push hard on the membership. Let's get people involved. Yes, it has to be a little fun. Yes, it has to be a little educational, a little motivational, but it has to be ultimately action, action, action. We got to get to action and actually do some things.
And you can't be afraid of conflict.
Correct. And conflict is good. Discussion is good. There's a lot of people that don't want to sit down and discuss with us, and they're using it as an excuse as opposed to let's have a discussion. We may not agree, but we can get to someplace where we may agree.
Kindness is another technique that socialists are using.
They use kindness too. Yes.
Yeah. How can you be mean to somebody? I'm not being mean. I'm trying to give them a life-saving skill,
Right.
and whether it's pleasant or not, it may save their life someday.
And I get accused of being a bully, and that's
We
all
have this
kinds.
membership guide, you're gonna give us some kind of guidance,
Yes, we are.
we're gonna have like, come and say, this is what you
Yes.
do. I would really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's what
Before
we're
I
gonna.
start.
That's the packages we're putting together. We got the door hangers. We'll have the membership.
Very willing, because Fountain obviously.
Our EC wants to get involved in that too.
Good.
Really
Very
So she will make time to come.
Yes. So, but that's what we want to be able to do, something that's uniform across all the county, give you targets
Yeah.
based on the more conservatives or Trump supporter voters that you have in your precinct, and hopefully help you all build where you can have actual meetings, whether it's zone meetings or just a precinct meeting or a couple precincts getting together
Y'all come
and
up
actually
with
implementing and doing some
it. Have
things.
you come up with a date for that yet? You're just holding off to it?
Oh, we're holding off till after the November, but we're saying go ahead and join now for the whole 26 term. So if you join, like the stuff, the mailers that we put out, we included, go ahead and join now. We'll include 26 and 27. I'm sorry, 25 and 26 as part of your membership. So,
Okay.
you get a quarter for free or whatever. But part of what we'll do is we're gonna do the newspaper quarterly. You're gonna y'all imagine you get 20 members or 100 members or whatever in your precinct, then you get 100 newspapers to go and drop on their door, every quarter. Gives you a reason to go knock on the door, say hey, and give them something and keep them in touch. I'm not saying all these people want to get involved and come to coffee and politics and get involved in this all stuff all the time, but there will be a troop or an army that we can mobilize, and get them involved in the elections and make sure they get out and vote and all that stuff. Yes, and get them, when we have good candidates, have a meeting for that candidate to come speak to those people. Not the bad ones, but but the ones that support what we, or at least the body from a ground up perspective, support. That's what we want to be able to do. So, all right. Anything else?
I got an announcement.
Yes.
Zone 9 Crime Watch meeting is Saturday, November 1st at 1 o'clock at the Piedmont Community Center. I'm thinking Phyllis told me it's the Piedmont Community Center. It's at 1 o'clock Saturday, November 1st.
Okay, great. And ask Phyllis, or you can send us, and we'll add it to the calendar.
Okay, I'll remind her.
Okay, that'll be perfect. And I think Pickens has gotten some of their dates. I know their county convention is gonna be December 4th. It's a Thursday after our Christmas party. They're gonna announce a reorg makeup date, and then they are doing little precinct meetings. They're gonna do a whole bunch of them, so I think they can control them. But we are going to help those guys get turnout up in Pickens. So that's what we want to do. I've told them, the more people we get to turn out, just, we'll take random people. I'll take any random sampling of South Carolinians, especially in Pickens. I think they're gonna be more Trump, MAGA, America First types than establishment types. So our goal will be to help them turn out as many people as they can. So I know we have a lot of stuff on our plate, legislative, that reorg, membership drive, the June primaries next year, all that kind of stuff that's gonna keep coming. But there's a lot of work to do. So we just plug people in. So, but I think I'm excited about the Pickens thing. At least they're getting their dates. And I kind of thought they were just going to do a 1 day, reorg and county convention, type thing. But apparently they are splitting it out. It is in state law. They have to split it out. So at least they're complying with the law. But hopefully the SCGOP will wake up and say this was a mistake. Because when they took over our reorg, it was a mistake. And now they're having to deal.
Be very careful. They're under a microscope.
They are. Yeah. But the good thing, I hate.
Both sides are
We
under
would
a
say-
microscope.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying they have to be careful and make sure they.
Yeah. Right, but the SCGOP is running it, so they, by automatic definition, they're compliant, because what is the SCGOP gonna say? Oh, we did it wrong? So at least all we have to do, just like in 2023, when the state party took over our reorg illegally, all we had to do was show people up. We didn't have to run it. We didn't have to go book a place. We didn't have to. We just had to say, "Hey, let's just go out there and get people." Thank you. It hurt us economically,
That's what it did.
but we just showed people up, and we showed up a good number of people, and we can help. We can do that in Pickens, and we can have people across the state help us get people in Pickens to show up, and we can use the excuse of, "Oh, we need people in Pickens to show up because Drew McKissick and the SCGOP are bad people, and they're sticking up to Pickens because you guys came out there and booed Lindsey Graham." So let's motivate and get a bunch of people out. So, and let the state party, pay for everything. It's great in that respect. You got to look at the positive side of it. So, all right. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, are we going to debate it? All right, we are adjourned. We'll be back next Friday. Keep getting people out to vote.
All over the labels.